This is Jockberty. Oh wait, sorry.
Not quite, but I like the enthusiasm, Ben. Welcome to Sports Bets, but mostly chaos. Boys, it's been 2 weeks. I know the Billions have been worried they didn't see a show last week, but you know what? Maybe, I don't know. Did they think we got canceled? I guess we don't have to worry about it because we are back and we have a jam-packed show. As always, we got tons to get to. NBA, NHL playoffs. We got baseball update. We got another Get Off My Lawn segment by Jace. I'm pretty sure that's becoming a weekly segment. It's popular by demand. We also got Cohooney 5 in there. We always know how fun that gets to go. So, but let's get right into things. Let's just dive in head first. NHL playoffs. The first round has been completed once the Toronto Maple Leafs blew a 3-1 series lead. We are now into the second series around. And Ben, we'll just go ahead and shoot this to you. Why don't you let us know how the NHL playoffs is looking all around?
They are looking hot and heavy as always over there in your sexy shirt. Anywho, round one.
That didn't take long.
Round one was pretty eventful. 16 out of the 39 games played went to overtime. So if you wanted some bonus hockey, this was the round to watch. So I'm just going to go through each of the matchups and how they kind of each turned out. Leafs versus the Habs. Leaf fans were not very pleased with another Game 7 loss. And so it was a little disappointing to see another 3-1 series lead go bye-bye. But no surprise there. Carey Price stole the show and just did what he needed to do to keep them going. So I think that they may actually have a potential to make a deep run now. As I say that, they'll probably get eliminated in this round. But then we go over to the Avs and Blues, where the Avs swept the Blues and outscoring them 20-7. No OT needed in any of those games, winning every game by 3+ goals. And then you got the Caps and Bruins. Bruins winning in 5, which was probably the most disappointing series out of all of them. 3 out of 5 of those needing overtime, so it really could have gone either way. But damn, I picked the Caps in my bracket, and that didn't pan out too well. So,
yep, I know the feeling.
A bracket that did suck. Shut it. One that did go pretty well for me, though, was the Oilers series. Edmonton got swept out, and Draisaitl and McDavid were held pointless in the first 2 games. Which kind of shows the abilities of the Jets to really shut down that top line and do what they needed to do to make it, just a lopsided affair. And then you go over to the East, where it's the Penguins versus the Islanders. It was more so just the Islanders. Islanders 1-6, but the goaltending fiasco with the Penguins with Jari was just the writing on the wall for them. It was terrible. He allowed 20+ goals in the series. He had an 8.888 save percentage and a 3.18 goals against in 6 games. That is not Stanley Cup playoff material right there. And that, folks, is why they got eliminated really quick.
Ben, would you say that their goaltending was jarring?
You kidding me, Ben? What do you mean? That's Martin Jones in playoff numbers right there.
That's he at least gets a 890. Okay. But staying in the East, Panthers versus Bolts. I was really having some high hopes with the Panthers to take that series, but unfortunately, the Stanley Cup defending champs kind of showed why they are who they are. Winning that one in 6.
Who we thought they were.
Bobrovsky and Dreiger, they were terrible. They lost it for the team early on, allowing way too many goals, too many close games that they allowed to just get away from them. So thankfully, Spencer Knight did get an opportunity to play. He got his first career win in his first career playoff game, which was really cool. Winners. Second game, not so great. But anyways, I digress. But then we got the Hurricanes and the Predators. Hurricanes walked away with that one, winning in 6. 3 with 3 games going to OT. It really could have been anyone's game. Predators did win a couple tightly contested games in overtime to keep forcing a new game. But, at the same time, like the Hurricanes just have a really good squad, and they are currently tied with the Tampa Bay Lightning right now. But then we go to the Knights and Wild, which is one of the possible teams that could make a deep run. The Knights took it in 7, just like Craig said that the Wild would probably win in 7, which was incorrect. But Rist was very correct when he said that they would make it a very tightly contested series. And
let's forget all about me coming on here and all of y'all looking at me like I was like sighing, like I was cynical or whatever the word is. I don't know. I'm just so baffled that you would do that I don't even know how to speak English anymore.
So the Wild did force it to Game 7 to create a possible upset, but unfortunately, to Craig's amount, it did not pan out. So then,
just go ahead and talk about their second series, and then we can divulge into that a little bit.
So yeah, that was the recap of the first round. The second round, though, right now it's sitting at the Avs versus the Knights. Avalanche have a 2-0 lead after winning Game 2 last night in overtime. I think that I think Craig picked the Knights in this one, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, go ahead and check the bracket, check the text messages, check the receipts. I'm pretty sure I picked Colorado. And I believe I also ticked Colorado to be in the Stanley Cup Finals, if you want to check the tape on that one, but I digest.
Yeah, you copied me on that one, though.
Oh, give me a break. I had it written on paper before you even spoke.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. So anyways, moving on from these lies. Bruins versus Islanders. That is currently tied 1-1. Game 3 is going on, and it's in overtime. While the Hurricanes are playing the Bolts, it is 2-0 Bolts. And the Bolts are currently tied with the Hurricanes in Game 3, 2-2 in the third period. So hopefully the Carolina Hurricanes can sneak out a win in Tampa Bay. And then you got the Jets versus the Habs, 1-0 Habs after Game 1. And there was that disgusting hit by Scheifele at the end of the game, which we will talk about a little later. But as of right now, that's the scores and brackets, the way they've all laid out so far for hockey. Everything's looking pretty good. And like I said, 16 out of 39 games in round 1 have gone to overtime. So I've been pretty excited about that. Been watching plenty of hockey. There's no shortage of that going on. And it looks like round 2 is being pretty promising. A little more lopsided, but I think that there's going to be some fight back from each team, and each round will go, each one will go to probably to 6 games, because that's what I picked in my bracket. So let's do it.
Nice.
Can I just point out that it took COVID. It took a COVID season for a Canada team to make the Eastern Conference Finals or the Conference Finals. It's kind of funny how they set it up like that.
Well,
so when's the last time? When's the
way
last
to
time?
do it.
When's the last time a Canadian team made it that far?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
But that's what the formation is allowed for, and I mean, teams have to create the opportunity that's presented to them, right? So it's definitely creating some good hockey up north.
Whoever comes out of Tampa, Carolina is going to smoke the Jets or Montreal. I think they're just leagues underneath them.
Well, the winner of Tampa Bay, Carolina is going to play the winner of New York and Boston.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Canadian.
I don't know how it's the setup.
It's that one, and then the winner of Winnipeg, Montreal plays the winner of Colorado and Vegas.
Colorado's going to sweep them. The Jets or Montreal.
It's all right, no problem. Way to do your research. It's all good.
Stick to basketball.
Run that guy.
Well, yeah, I'm not the hockey guy.
Yeah, but hey, you know what? But Ben did bring up a really good point. I think before we get into a little bit of this series, I do want to touch on the whole Mark Scheifele incident at the end of the game. So you may have seen, you may not have seen it, but pretty much Winnipeg had the extra attacker out, empty net. I don't remember the guy's name specifically on Montreal, but
Davis.
I'm not sure.
I think it was like Elvin or whatever.
Something like the Evans, maybe.
Evan.
But anyways, Mark Scheifele hits him pretty hard up high, left his feet. Interesting, though, because a lot of the players on Montreal had reactions. I know one of the guys is saying that if he does play in this series, they're going to make his life hell in the rest, any games they play. And I also saw a report that Winnipeg's head coach straight up said, yeah, it was ugly hit, but it was clean. So I guess my curious question is, where do you guys land on that hit? I mean, not to mention he also did get suspended for 4 games. So if the series does make it to, I guess, Game 6, Mark Scheifele would be back in the lineup. So that would be 2 potential games in Game 6 and Game 7. He'd be back in the lineup. Interesting to see how that plays out.
My biggest issue with the whole thing is that they gave him 4 games. He doesn't deserve 4 games when there's a player who has a dirty history, gets kicked out of a game for a match penalty, which I don't know, for the viewers who do not know, in NHL, a match penalty is a penalty where you have an intent to injure. So Ryan Reeves of Vegas got kicked out of the game for an intent to injure an opponent, got 2 games suspended. While Scheifele, a nasty elbow, should have got a game or 2, should not have got more games because he didn't intend to injure the guy. He was going full speed trying to stop the guy from scoring basically the game clincher goal. He was doing his best to keep the guy from scoring, and just awful timing. Like, the guy had no chance to, he's focused on scoring, has no shot to brace himself, and I just have a big issue with it being more than Ryan Reeves.
That's a fair point. And then next we'll go with Grandpa Jay. Have you ever seen something in your time seeing the NHL?
I mean, I've seen some big hits. My question to you guys is, I'm guessing.
Are you gonna answer the question with a question? Because then you're just asking. Because now we're gonna run into questions.
That's a grandpa kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a grandpa thing to do. I'm gonna answer a question with a question. But my question is,
you are just the worst type of person.
Thank you. Is Evans going to be out the rest of the series?
I'm guessing
the guy's got to be in concussion protocol at the very least.
He's got a concussion, so he's got a concussion. So they said that he will be out for some time.
I don't know if this will open up a bag of worms or whatever it is, but if he's out for the series? Why don't just suspend him the same length that the guy's out for? I
mean, that's been something that I think, at least between us, we've mentioned that idea over the years about whether a player, and I don't think it's just not even necessarily in hockey, but just, I mean, in other sports too. Like, if you injure somebody, should you be suspended for as long as they're out for?
Yeah,
I mean, that's a whole other thing. I don't know if that's something you can do. I mean, what happens if you hurt somebody and they're out for their entire career? Does that mean you're out for the rest of your career?
Yep, you messed up.
All right, that's one way to look at it, I guess.
How about no?
It also matters, like, the issue is what's the intent, right? Like, okay, so going way back in time, but I think it was a Steelers quarterback threw the ball and like 5 seconds had gone by, and out of nowhere, the defensive player grabs him by the back and literally gives him a German suplex and spikes him on his head. And the guy never played quarterback again.
Yeah.
So, like, if you do that to someone, like, literally intent to injure, you should be kicked out of the league. But if it's something dangerous. Where it's like, but if you injure someone on a play where, like, like, say you high stick someone and like they get a cut, somehow they get a cut like into their eye or something like that, and they're out for like a game or 2.
I feel like you can relate.
Do you think that they should get suspended for inadvertent stick? Like, that's my only issue.
I'm talking about like penalties like this, where it could have been so different if you would have just stuck a stick out to try to stop the puck and then follow through and hit him. But it looked from the entire replay that he was just charging and trying to knock him on his ass, and he did. And
there was a replay that I was telling Jason about before we started that showed Scheifele before the hit. He started off in the offensive zone where they were applying pressure, and then the puck went out. He, from the front of the crease, skated balls to the wall hard to the net. Okay, but you could tell by his body language where the player was in the play on making the wraparound goal. He still was going and had full intent to light the guy up. The guy's vulnerable. He's wrapping around, both hands are down on the stick. His head is watching the goal. He has no idea he's about to get lit up like that. Like Scheifele should have, like Jason said, put the stick out, try to make a play off of it, and then maybe hit. But the guy followed through with the hit, full out, just destroyed it. The guy did a backflip. That clearly shows that the guy had
he left the ice. His skates left the ice on the hit too.
He had no intent to slow down. And I understand play to the whistle, but that's not necessary. That's overkill. And I think 4 games is fair for this situation, given the intent to injure and everything that happened. Now, I completely agree with you. Ryan Reeves should have gotten more, especially with his history. But we all know the fun wheel of suspensions that the league loves to spin. So we can't say we're surprised by.
I think it's almost like they just put a bunch of numbers on a ping pong balls and they put it in a thing and they just go like this and they go, we got 4 games here, 4 games. So
another thing I'm seeing on a couple of on Twitter and YouTube, there's people just saying we need to talk about charging because every ref, the refs, every ref is different when it comes to charging. Is it 5 strides? Is it all these strides? Or is it where do you start? Is it that you lifted your feet? Like
charging they need to work on gray area, just like goaltender interference. The only black and white penalty, even too many men can be considered a gray area penalty. The only black and white penalty is delay of game when you throw it out of the zone. That is the only black and white penalty. Even a high stick can be distinguished differently because you're allowed to hit somebody in the face on accident if you're on a follow through for a shot. So it's like people have different interpretations of a lot of the rules, and it does create a lot of confusion. And that's kind of what comes with the game, I guess.
Yeah. I've just noticed I've seen that over the years where people still don't know. You know how like in the NFL, what the hell is a catch? In NHL, what the hell is a charge? Like,
well, for the longest time early on, I didn't know what the hell encroachment was. What the hell is encroachment? Like,
I'll encroach you right now.
It's when you make.
I believe it.
All right, wait a minute.
It's when you make contact with the defensive.
No, Boston won it in overtime.
I love it. I love it.
No.
But I guess if I were to throw let's go quickly. Go ahead.
I just want to answer his question. Do you know what encroachment is now, or do you?
No, I still don't know what the whole encroachment is. Okay, didn't they take it out of the game?
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
No.
We're sorry. We're actually all the time.
It's when the defensive player makes contact with the offensive player on the goal line. They call it encroachment instead of offsides.
Why is there a different rule? Like that doesn't make sense.
Because offsides is when you go before the snap. So encroachment is when the snap hasn't happened yet, but you make contact with the offensive player. That's the only reason. Craig, go ahead and talk whatever you want to say. I'm sorry. Quit it. Move on. Quit it. Move on.
I was just gonna say my 2 cents on the whole thing, just because I want to make sure we got to it eventually, was that I think I agree with kind of everyone's kind of piecing up. I think 4 games is fair because I just thought the hit was just a little over the top. And I get it, it's playoff hockey and everything, but a little over the top. But yeah, exactly what John said. I mean, you have a guy who's a repeat offender in Ryan Reeves, and he gets 2 games, and there's clear intent to injure on the things he's doing out there. So, but it loops all the way back to the whole way the league just plays out with these suspensions and how they do it. It honestly does sometimes feel like it's just a simple, like, there's a bunch of balls in a thing, with numbers on it, which is spin around till you get one. And that's, we got 3 games here. So it's just one of those messy things that I don't think it's ever going to get fully solved about, how to properly do these things. But yeah, but other than that, I mean, I think it was a fair suspension for sure.
Yeah. But I mean, well, speaking of suspensions and people getting hit, let's talk about the 2021 draft, because those guys got to be welcomed into the league pretty hard. So
I don't
somehow,
know. I mean, are any of those players actually going to make it to the NHL? It's such a shit draft.
there's one name in particular that does stick out that I think you
Not even
guys will
close.
know right off the bat. And so for those of you who don't know, Buffalo Sabres got the first overall pick for the 2021 draft. Not surprising. I mean, they suck. They're in a rebuild. It's politics, whatever. Second overall will go to Seattle. So we'll see how that goes. Third overall is the Ducks.
Nobody
And
cares.
Who?
Shut up. And then you got the New
Why?
Jersey Devils.
The her.
Y'all assholes. And then Columbus, the Detroit Red Wings, the San Jose Sharks, the LA Kings, the Vancouver Canucks, and then the Ottawa Senators. Now, out of the mock draft play, I'm just going to name off a couple players. Apparently, Owen Power is supposed to be the first overall pick. He's a defenseman.
Wow.
We'll see how that. I mean, I think I've heard that for the past few months.
Me
So
and his money.
I think he'll be first overall. We'll see what he becomes. As always, third for the Ducks will be for the third overall will be Simon Edvinson. He's a defenseman. Shocker.
Who?
Yeah, no, exactly. But of course, Murray will probably go for a defenseman, so this is very real possibility. And then the fourth with the New Jersey Devils, Luke Hughes. Wonder who that could be related to. So if he's still there in the fourth,
You said the
Can't do
Devils.
the Devils.
They're
So
gonna make the same mistake twice.
No.
well, they what was it? Jack Hughes did say during a interview that if he's still around for that fourth overall, he would love to see the Devils pick his brother. So that'd be cool. And then Kent Johnson, center, would be projected for the Sharks. Let me see. Probably. He's going to the Sharks, so all hopes are going to dwindle anyways. He's probably going to get like a $9 million 4-year contract, no movement clause, all that good stuff that Doug Wilson loves to give. So
He's talking
So-
about Wilson will be gone after this year.
we'll see what happens. But those will be the kind of the highlights to look out for in regards to our teams and the Devils. I'm kind of curious to see how accurate these top 10 will be. But I could see the Ducks also maybe making a trade for a player for that third overall pick. So we'll see how many trades are actually made, if there's any sort of movement. But with the Sharks, I don't
I could see Doug Wilson trading that pick.
Yeah,
Because
there's
he knows
no promise.
how much he's on the hot. He's on the hot seat, so he's like he's in win now mode.
Mhm.
So I could see them trading him. Maybe. Well, okay, so don't want to get off topic again, but you brought up Eichel.
Yep.
What's it going to take to get Eichel? Well, possibly that seventh overall.
You want
pick.
Jack Eichel?
I'm not. I don't know. Maybe that's a hero quitter question.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So that's just all I got on in regards to hockey. I wanted to touch base on that draft. I did get a little intrigued when I saw the mock draft for the top 10 because it is a first. It's a first in a while where both of our teams are in the top 10 in regards to a draft pick. But of course, the year we do that, it's the worst draft probably imaginable. So fun for us. Back to you, Mr. Martin, Mr. Vacation Mode.
Ugh.
All right. Before we switch any topics, is there any series that you guys want to just touch on or anything like that? Anything you guys are feeling good about? I mean, I know we have our bracket challenge going on. We all have our picks. We're all
Is the,
not in first place unless you're Ben. So it's a whole mess of things.
Not how you
I think-
start, it's how you finish.
Yeah. Hey, I do want to shout out Colorado Avalanche, man. 2-0 series lead over Vegas. It's a series that we've kind of all wanted to see, even though, I did take Minnesota, but that was kind of one of those like shot in the dark, like, let's have a chance. Let's have a chance for an upset here. And hey, you know what? Minnesota played Vegas hard, and I think that series might have done a number on Vegas because Game 1, Colorado. That game might be on browsers because it wasn't close. Game 2, Vegas had their hopes up, went to overtime, and then Mikko Rantanen went to Snipe City. 2-0 series lead. Now they have a real chance to put the stranglehold if they can get one of those games in Vegas in the upcoming weekend, next couple games. So, but yeah, that's just one thing I want to touch on. I had a lot of hope. I had a lot of hope in Carolina. They were my team to come out from the other side. Got down 2-0 to Tampa Bay, which kind of sucks. I mean, are we really going to see Tampa Bay just make it to the Stanley Cup Finals again? Jason, I don't need your head nodding or anything like that. You can just calm it down a whole level and just shut your mouth and keep it right there.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys want?
Colorado will move on within 4 or 5. The Islanders Bruins is gonna be the best shot to go to.
Are you saying the Colorado might sweep?
7. Possibly 4 or 5. Gentlemen,
I don't think they're gonna sweep. I think Vegas will probably get game 3.
That's what I'm saying. That's what's called a gentleman's sweep, where you allow them to have at least one win at home.
Well, that's what that's called.
For their fans.
Got it.
I thought a gentleman's sweep was when you give up a game and then win 4 straight.
No.
All right, we just keep changing the definition here.
No, you just don't know what it is.
Okay.
This upcoming overtime is going to be humongous, though, because obviously if Tampa Bay gets the goal, they're up 3-0.
Well, I mean, that's cute. You're looking into the future. I'm watching it live. It's still in the 3rd period. So is it going to overtime?
Quit it. Move on.
Oh, it is. Okay. There is 5 minutes left in the intermission. All right. I was like, I didn't refresh.
Moving on.
Like, I was like, interesting. But Tampa Bay is on a power play, so more than likely they're going to shit on them. Oh, shut up. You and your Tampa Blue over there.
God. The best part about it is you're like saying over there when he's literally like right behind you. That's
he is.
Really the best part.
Look at that sexy stud over there. But
all
anyways,
right, good choice. Good opportunity to switch topics. We can go to a different sport now. So
yeah, so we'll move on to another sport.
We need to get into a little bit of NBA playoffs. The last time that we were even on this show was before the Warriors season was even over. I believe we were talking about the heartbreak game down in LA against the Lakers. We're looking forward to the game against the Grizzlies. Obviously, I think you all know what happened.
Way to spend my birthday.
Yeah, well, I don't want to comment too much on the luck that your birthday brings, but Jason and John, take it away. You guys can do over a little bit how the Warriors kind of end the season recap and then just kind of fill us all in and just how the NBA playoffs have been playing out so far.
The Dubs, they lost to the Grizzlies. They really had no business winning that game. They fought back at the end, but I think they were worn out. John Morant was making shots after shot after shot, and once again they just got tired. They're planning for next year now. The big off season ahead for the Dubs. They got a lot of decisions to make. Realistically, they've punted. Well, Curry punted last year, but I think the Warriors didn't really do Curry any favors this year. So they really got to come back and regroup. Yes, they have Clay, but he's not going to solve all the problems. They need to get rid of, in my opinion, Smailagic, Mulder, Payton, Bell, possibly Bazemore and Lee. I think you need to bring in some veterans.
As long as it's not LeBron, I'll be happy.
Amen. And just every team, like I said, Clay is likely going to be back, but what percentage? Maybe 80% early on. And then by maybe next spring, hopefully he's 100%. And then they can gear up. I mean, I think the goal is to be maybe a top 4 seed in the West next year if they retool free agency. But that's pretty much all I got on the Warriors. I think they're going to dump a lot of the younger guys and go and help Curry.
Yeah, so it was a really, really awful start to the Warriors game. They were just so sloppy with the basketball.
Yep.
And then, like you said, John Morant had his best shooting game of his career.
Yep.
So that was unfortunate that it happened against the Warriors to close it out. He had never hit by halftime. He had more threes made in a single game than he's had his whole career. So,
oh wow,
he had never made more than 3 in a game. He had 4 by halftime. So it's like what are you gonna do about
Jeez.
that? Like they left him open because that's what you're supposed to do. You know, like teams leave Draymond Green open for a three. If he makes it, oh well. He's shooting 22%.
Right.
He made it. Congrats. That's how the Warriors played. That's how their game plan was. He made him pay. It's unfortunate. But going back to what you're saying about the next season, they're going to go for with it being Curry's last season under contract. They're going for it. With Clay being back, they're going for it. And if Minnesota, if the Warriors don't get if Minnesota doesn't get a top 3 pick and they finish 4th, I think the Warriors will be trading the 4th pick. I think they'll be trading Wiseman and they'll be trading Wiggins for a star. Whether that's Kawhi or someone else, I don't know. But they're going for it next year. And it'll be pretty interesting to see what happens. Oubre won't be back next year. And I don't see Wiggins being back either next year. I think they're
You think he'll wig his way out?
No, it just he had his opportunity this year to show that he's a 2.
Oh my God.
And he didn't even average. Did he even average 20 points a game this year? Like he's so
19.5.
like
No.
so bad.
But
That probably was what it was.
But Wiggins did play pretty damn good defense. And we didn't score 20 points a game, but if
Can't
they
do
keep Wiggins and and Clay's back, he's gonna be the third or fourth option.
No, he'll be the 3.
Yeah, he'll be the 3 option.
Yeah.
But like you said, I think Wiggins may not be back. I think Wiseman has a chance to be traded. There's a lot of possibilities.
I don't think so, Tim.
They're going to go for one of the top star people who are like on their last year of their contract as well. It's going to be interesting off season.
Right.
To touch on the actual first round of basketball, the East is already over with. The Bucks are going to be playing against the Nets, and the 76ers are going to be playing off against the
Atlanta Hawks.
Hawks. And I know Craig and Ben don't really watch basketball, but that Knicks Hawks series was Trae Young's coming out party. That bow he did in Madison.
I heard about the bow. I heard about the bow.
That was so awesome.
Yeah.
And what the reporters asked him about it, he's like, "Well, I was in New York, and New York is full of shows.
Yeah,
what do they do at the end of the show?
Yeah.
They bow. Oh, Trae Young.
Yeah, I'm for it. I'm for that.
Great showman. You know,
He's gonna get run next game. That's an unwritten rule. You don't think about.
Well, there's no next game. They're done. The series is over.
Yeah.
Next year,
and then in the West, Utah's moved on. Denver beat Portland tonight in Game 6, so Denver's moving on. And then we have Game 6 between the Lakers and the Suns tonight, and then tomorrow we have Game 6 of the Mavs and Clippers. Mavericks are up 3-2. If they win tomorrow, they move on. If they lose, goes to Game 7. And then tonight,
Is that how it works?
And then tonight, LeBron's about to get knocked out in the first round for his first time.
Hell yes. That's all high five to that, baby. But I'm not gonna lie, I like basketball is not my
You don't say. You don't say.
You don't say. But I was very surprised to hear that the Mavericks are actually beating the Clippers right now 3-2. Like that's
why is it?
pretty
Why?
crazy.
I only want to know why. Where is this going?
Because just because like Kawhi Leonard, I know the Clippers are supposed to be really stacked or whatever, really good.
What do you know about Kawhi Leonard?
I don't know. I don't know.
At least he knows. At least he knows that's his laugh.
Do you guys want to hear a funny thing about the Clippers?
Yeah, I'd absolutely love to hear you say it. Oh, I'm sorry, we're all out of time.
John's gonna beat me to the punch. I was about to say what he's gonna say. Go ahead.
The Clippers, the last game of the season,
He beat me.
all they had to do was beat the OKC Thunder, who are the second worst team in the West. If they beat them, they play Portland in the first round. They purposely lost that game by resting all their starters so that they could play the Mavericks, and the Mavericks might knock them out in the first round. That's Carva. If I'd never heard it before.
That's a strategy biting you in the ass.
Yep. Old strategy, got it. Doesn't look like it's paying out.
Wow.
Oh man.
But
Too
yeah, getting
much.
back to next year, the Warriors. I have this again. I hate to use the phrase "shot in the dark,"
Pipe
but
dream.
Oh, look at Ben's face. He's
Wait,
like,
is this a prediction?
no,
Is this a
it's
prediction? No, I had the drum roll. Queued.
spoiler.
I had the drum roll queued for this one.
I wonder if they would try to go after Damian Lillard, the Warriors, and play a three-guard lineup.
Dame kind of seems like that guy to me that
He wants
I
to
mean,
be
again, I don't know basketball and follow enough, but like Dame Lillard seems like a guy that he's pretty committed with Portland. Like
for sure.
back when all these
Damian-
these super teams are getting together, he kind of was like, no, like that's not for me. Like that's not what I want to do. Which unfortunately, Dame Lillard's probably not going to win a title in Portland with that matter.
So-
But I mean, he's a hell of a ball player. There's no questioning that. But yeah, I don't know. I bet, like I said, I just that guy comes off to me as a guy that he's committed to Portland, which I know he's from the Bay Area. He's a Bay Area guy. So, but yeah, I don't know. Like I said, he just seems like a guy that he's committed to Portland and Portland all the way through.
He's probably my favorite player outside of the Warriors. He's so much fun to watch, and
Is it Dame time?
It's
Dame time.
crazy. It's crazy how similar Damian Lillard and CJ are to Clay and Curry. Like if Clay and Curry if Curry didn't have his ankle issues in the beginning of his career, they would have been able to draft Klay Thompson, and who knows, maybe Damian Lillard and CJ are seen as the greatest backcourt in NBA history because they're easily top 5. While the Warriors are easily the best backcourt in NBA history, they're right there, and they would have a title right now if it wasn't for the Splash Bros.
Debatable. I kind of get what you're saying, but I'm not going to go quite that level. Yeah. I think Clay's way better than CJ, but
Oh yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. They're
That's what
better,
she said.
but when they went to the Western Conference Finals against the Warriors, I think they got swept. I can't remember. That team could have beat the Cavs that year.
Yeah.
Well, that's very interesting.
Oh, welcome back, Ben.
Quit it.
All right. Well, let's talk about. Actually, let's not talk about it. Jason, you have to talk about how your bets. You had a couple bets in each of the games tonight, and I already know. Spoiler alert! Thanks to the information provided, I already know you can't go perfect.
No,
So maybe 3 for 4 tonight, Jay.
maybe. So I picked Portland over Denver on the money line. And as we noted earlier, Denver beat Portland.
No.
Hey, but the over of 227.5 hit. So we're 1 for 1. Well, 1 for 2 in those games. And then I also took Phoenix to close out the Lakers tonight. And I picked over 207.
Can I just point out real quick? Not even 4 minutes into the game, the Suns are already up by 9.
It's a wrap, baby.
It's early.
It's a repeat. It's a repeat. Well, this is exactly what happened last game.
I just want to know, after they're eliminated, what excuse is LeBron going to come out in like a foot cast? What are we?
He's gonna come out in a full body cast.
Full body cast. What are we looking at tonight?
Anthony Davis is also playing this game too.
Sure, with her hurt groin. Good luck.
What?
That's what she said. I know. Go.
But anyways,
Nope, not going there. Don't stoop that level. We're adults here.
yeah, just
Yeah,
Just you.
Jason, grow up a little bit. Jeez,
yeah.
expect better things from the grandpa of the show. But whatever.
All
All right, let's move along. Let's move along. Let's keep the train going. Let's make a stop.
Oh yeah, the train.
Let's make a stop in baseball. We got to talk about how the teams have been doing. It's been 2 weeks. We had the A's and Angels play quite a bit. We had series down in Anaheim. We had series up in Oakland, and we also got to talk about the Giants a little bit too. We gotta cover them a little bit. So let's just dive into the A's a little bit. So
This on a little.
So yeah, in a couple of weeks, they had a couple of series with the Angels. The 3 games that was down in Anaheim, the A's won 2 out of 3, but realistically, they probably should have swept that series.
Mm-hmm.
And then they come home, they go to Seattle, they lose 2 out of 3. Not the best series there.
Split?
They lost 2 out of
4. I thought. Didn't
No.
they split 4? For some reason, I thought it was a 4-game series.
He split
Okay.
4 with the Angels.
Yeah,
man.
maybe if you let me get to that,
I thought that's what
you'll
you
hear
said.
that. No,
My
so they
bad.
got home. They go against Seattle. They lose 2 out of 3. Then they
Yeah.
face the Angels. They come out. They win the first 2, lose the next 2. Then they go to Seattle. They won 2 out of 3. But let me just throw it over to you guys. Just where are you guys at right now? Thankfully, the Astros lost. So the A's, they finally had a day off. It was like 16 or 17 games in a row. I think it was a much needed day off today. It's a 1-game lead right now over the Astros, the American West. So just throw it out to you guys. What are you guys feeling over the last couple of weeks? How you guys felt about how the team's been playing, and just the overall consensus of where you think this team is at right now.
World Series.
Oh boy.
With the
And
Angels.
Ben is gone.
So I was a little surprised that they stuck to the 5-man rotation. Like you said, they had 16 games in a row, and I think you could definitely tell, like, when Bassett's last game, like, he just looked fatigued. Started beginning of the game, and it didn't look too good. You know, because he had just thrown a complete game.
It's June.
What, 5? Dude, you say he just pitched his first ever complete game shutout. Props to him. And 5 days later, 6 days later, he's back out on the mound. Like, usually you get that extra day
but
with the rest.
But Chris Bassett is also establishing himself as the ace of this staff.
Yeah.
And he has to be ready to go out there and pitch every 5 or 6 games. I'm not saying he's go out there and throw 9 innings every game, and I'm not even trying to hound on him either. Yeah, he didn't have his best stuff, but it's one start. I don't think you need to hype on it too much.
No. I'm not hyping on any of the pitchers. The pitchers have been doing fantastic. I was just talking
Thanks
about.
for
I thought
bringing it up on his mic.
I thought that it would be. I thought they would go to the 6-man. That's all I was saying. I wasn't hyping on anyone because their pitching staff's been fantastic. Could use a little bit more out of Irvin, but I mean, he's been decent the last couple of starts. But yeah, it's just the hitting. The hitting's cold. But Chapman, last game, got 2 hits. That was nice to see. I can't remember the last time he got 2 hits in a game.
Yeah, so now he's like 5 for his last 50.
Yeah.
He
He has a better batting average than Andrews, at least.
That doesn't take.
Yeah, but look at Elvis. Look at what Elvis
Breaking
Andrews
news,
has done.
Hurricanes just win in overtime.
What?
3-2, and now it is a 2-1 series lead for the Tampa Bay.
And what do you know? The Hurricanes will not get swept.
Woo! Woo!
Yeah.
All right, going back to Oakland. Sorry,
But-
folks.
Yeah,
I
and then the
No, sorry, good. Go ahead, finish off your side.
No, it's just so, and then Ramon is now on the IL, that's very disappointing. But
Yeah.
it's giving them the extra because Kemp doesn't usually play only against righties, but with Ramon on the IL, there's that extra spot, and Kemp's taking full advantage. I mean, he had that huge five RBI game against Seattle. It's really nice to see Kemp swing because I don't think I've ever seen Kemp on the A's where he's been this hot at the plate. And it's really good to see.
Especially when you have a guy like Chad Pinder who has a game where he has a couple hits, and you're like, oh yeah, let's play Chad Pinder every day. But then he has a game right after that where he's 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, and he doesn't get the ball in play. So he is in that grind of trying to find the consistency and really earn that spot. But yeah, Tony Kemp, I mean, he's getting in there against righties and lefties right now, and he's really making the most out of opportunities, which is really good to see because Kemp does seem like a really good fit for this team, just like as a guy, like not only just on the field, but also off the field too. So I think he mixes really well with the team. So it's obviously really good to see performance.
He's
from
that
him
perfect
too.
bottom of the lineup bat that if he gets on base and gets you guys wrapped around to the top of the lineup, he's perfect.
For sure. He's like an ideal guy at the bottom line. He's like our second leadoff hitter. So because you already know Ken has established himself as that leadoff hitter, and I mean he can get on base and get the ball for power. So that's obviously a big bonus. But the one other thing before we get to Jay about the 6-man rotation, I don't really know who you're gonna plug into that 6-man spot because Luzardo, yeah, he's back off the IL, he's in there, but I mean he struggled. He massively struggled. And I know he's set on being a starter, but man, maybe they'll be better off having him kind of being in that middle relief role for a little bit. I mean, we saw how it panned out in that Chris Bassett game. Bassett came out. Luzardo comes in, pitches a great 3 innings with 6 strikeouts, and kind of leads up to that point where the A's put up all those runs and they pull out that game. So again, yeah, obviously you want to see Luzardo become this great starter, but maybe it's better off in the bullpen and then after that, I mean, Mike Fiers is out for probably a couple of months. I mean, the only other option is maybe going down to the AAA with maybe Dalton Jeffries, but I think Dalton
available?
Well, see, he's been pitching again, but I think he was in a little bit of an injury too, so he just started throwing with Vegas.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's necessarily ready to be called up and come into a spot start. So, but the good thing is they had tonight off, they have Monday off, so give a little bit extra rest on there. So like Chris Bassett, he pitched, what game was that, Tuesday night? Well, right now he's slotted to start Tuesday, so he has a full week of rest between starts. So that's a good thing, but
still not enough time.
I've noticed like when you look at
Chris Bassett's better than all your pitchers combined, so I don't want to hear it. So
you look at the standings and they played like 3 or 4 more games than like other teams in the whole league. It's like their April-May schedule was insane. So like just to think like now they're done with like the insane like 16 games. Now they get to rest and not have to play every day of the week.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say?
Not sure. What were you?
I don't know, but maybe we should let Jason throw in.
I know. Last thing. Luzardo. What do you guys think about maybe doing an opener situation on the days that Luzardo would pitch?
No.
No. Who are you gonna do? Who are you gonna throw as the opener?
Throw Weems out there for 2 innings and then have Luzardo.
I don't even know if Weems is even on the active roster right now because they keep putting him. No, actually, in fact, Jordan Weems is not on the active roster because as soon as they activated Luzardo, they sent Weems back down.
Okay,
so
I thought he was still in the active roster.
They've been putting him up and down with when it comes to Goodwin, with him being on the IL or not. But which personally, I think Weems is better than Goodwin. But I think the A's like him because he's a left-handed arm, and they think that he has the stuff. If he can just get it down, he'll be solid for them. But that's my opinion. I don't make the decisions. But yeah, so Jordan Weems is even an option right now. He's down with Vegas or maybe the taxi squad. I don't know which whenever it is. I don't really know for sure how that whole thing works, but yeah. So I don't really know who you're going to plug into that whole opener spot. So, but yeah, Jason, I guess I'll to you. Where are you at right now with everything?
I'm all right with them right now. I've told everybody. I think the bats are they are what they are at this point. They're going to hit for 230, 240 if they're lucky. Their home run, walk, or strikeout. It's the way they've been, and it's going to be maybe the death of them. Going back to Luzardo, which you said, I kind of like the fact that he's coming out of the bullpen. He's kind of like a secret weapon, kind of like a Tim Lincecum in 2012, where he just came out of the bullpen and threw 2, 3, 4 innings and was lights out. It was a different change from the starting pitcher, so it gives the team another look. Yeah. That might be something useful if they keep him in the bullpen for the rest of the year. To maybe in the postseason, if they go far, that could be an option too. Shout out to Sean Manaea shoving last night, complete game. Pitching's coming around. Like you guys have said, the bullpen's kind of hit or miss at times, but I think all bullpens are hit and miss. Just looking for consistency. Still in first place, barely. Chappie's looked off all year. I think he's just behind. He's late at 92 mile-an-hour fastballs that he should be loading up on. I don't know I don't think it's an injury. Maybe he's.
What injury did he have last year?
He had a hip.
It was his hip, yeah.
That could be it.
Yeah, maybe he's favoring it. I don't know. He just looks a little off. His defense is still there, though, but. Yeah,
I think if his defense was a little bit on the edge, maybe you think about it. But to me, I think it's a mental thing for him.
Yeah,
because
they have him towards the bottom of the lineup too. So
yeah.
Right, he's dropped a lot, like the 6th and 7th in the lineup. So
because that's been his Achilles heel since he's been on this A's team is his offense. Because defense, he's still, in my opinion, probably your guys' opinion, he's the best defensive third baseman in baseball. The thing that keeps him off of being the best overall, probably not even in the top 3, maybe top 5, is because offensively he's been like a 250 hitter at his best. He just hasn't been locking down. But exactly what you're saying, Jay, like there's pitches that you sit there and you're like, how is Chapman not even making contact with these pitches?
Right.
Because they're hittable pitches. They're pitches that are fastballs, like you said, at 90, 92 miles an hour. He's not making contact. And it's worrisome because if the A's are going to make any type of run in the postseason, they 100% need Matt Chapman to need him to be there. It's a fact.
If he wants that big contract, like with his agent's going to want,
Yeah.
you got to produce at the plate. You can't be a half player. You got to be, if he wants that $200-300 million contract, you need to be putting up some numbers, and he's just not right now.
Yeah.
Which could benefit the A's, like in arbitration all those years.
Mhm.
But it's not helping his trade value right now either. So you're kind of man's land.
I think one thing that's kind of worrisome, I think if you look at it as a whole, I think if you try to break down the season that's happened so far, I think you look at it as, and look, you throw out the first 7 games when they came out to that terrible start. You throw those games out, and then you have that big 13-game win streak. I think if you take those games out too, because look, there's no team that's going to win that is as good as a 13-game win streak. So I think if you take away that whole first start to the season, this is a 500 ball club right now, and they've had the stretch of games with the Angels and the Mariners, and it was a really good chance to kind of put a dent and try to, push themselves away from Houston, because the Astros finally got a tough schedule where they had to play the Padres, the Dodgers, and the Red Sox, and the Astros came a couple games over 500. I think they just missed on the sweep today of Boston, and the A's, they went 500 in this stretch. So you really want to really start seeing them capitalize. But yeah, I think the offense is big because it's like exactly what you kind of pointed out. It's like home run or bust from this team. And they went through a stretch of games last week where they hit one home run in like 6 games, which is like crazy, because you think if I told you that you probably thought they would have lost probably every game, but somehow they were 3-4 or 3-3, whatever it was in that stretch. So you're starting to, but knowing that they did win those couple games, you're seeing that they are starting to get some more offense outside of the long ball, which is good. But the reality is they have guys that are just underperforming. That's too much. Matt Chapman, we touched on him quite a bit. He's not performing well. Mitch Moreland, he's been hurt. He's there hitting there, but he's still hitting like 240. So he's not doing as much as we want him to. Sean Murphy, he is hitting like 200, and I don't think he's hit a home run in like a month. So Murphy is really struggling. I mean, you look around, and then Ramon Laureano, who's probably been
the best player,
maybe their best player from start of the season to now, he's hurt. So, and that's a guy you got to keep healthy. So, I mean, Mark Canha has been consistent, but I mean, he's only hitting 250. Matt Olson's been good. Matt Olson's been pretty good. He's hitting like 265. So there's nobody really on this team that is just eye popping really offensively. I think you could argue that Chris Bassett has been pretty damn good all year long. He's been shaky a couple of starts, but I mean, the guy's established himself, and not to mention the guy, if you've seen the post-game interviews, I mean, nothing but raw emotion from that guy. So you want to see everything good happen to him, because you see how far he's come, and here he is. He's basically the number 1 pitcher on this Oakland A's staff right now. And they know that, because I think you guys would choose this. If the A's are playing a playoff game tomorrow, who's starting for the A's? It's Chris Bassett, right? It's not, and it's not really that close, right? Maybe you consider, Manaea is left-handed. No, you're going with Chris Bassett in game 1. So
going with Chris Bassett.
Manaea only if you're playing a lefty team.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the offense, it's probably going to be what makes or breaks this team, and it's kind of the reason why when we made these early season predictions, why I didn't pick this team necessarily off the gate to just make it to the World Series and get there, because it's just the offense that scares me. So whether or not they make any additions at the deadline, whether they make any adjustments, then whether these guys can just start getting more consistent at the plate, we'll have to wait and see. But before we'll talk about the Giants a little bit too, but I do want to throw it over to Ben. I know you have some exciting things to let us know about the Angels, which, by the way, they just played the Giants this week too. They had a 6-day stay in the Bay Area when they played the A's and the Giants. But Ben, you got a bunch of things to recap on the Angels. So without further ado, why don't you take it away?
Boy, well,
And that's it, folks.
And we're out of time.
There's no Bay Bridge traffic, right?
well, yeah, that was a little bit of a fun welcome to the Bay Area.
I'm not gonna lie, it split my mind for a minute. I forgot about that.
So in that 4-game set, let's start off. They had during our last show, they were going to play the Oakland A's for a 3-game set, like you guys had talked about. They went 1-2, unfortunately, against them. Didn't look too great, so we'll skip that. But then they played 2 games against the Rangers and did very well. Their bats came alive, winning 11-5 and 9-8. So 2 solid offensive wins. Then they go and then they play the A's again for a 4-game set this time. Drop the first 2, but then win the next 2. But unfortunately, game 1 was a little bit of a snafu because apparently Ohtani took the late bus over the bridge from San Francisco to Oakland. As some people may not know, they do visiting teams for who are playing the Oakland Athletics stay in San Francisco. So he took the Bay Bridge over, and there was a massive accident. Just bumper to bumper traffic. So the guys advised him maybe it'd be better if he took BART. They turned it around, got him on BART. Well, he ended up showing up to the ballpark an hour into the game. So needless to say, he didn't start that game, and they ended up losing 5-0. But given the lack of offense with getting shut out, I don't think Ohtani being on the mound would have really been a helping hand to them. I think that was just a losing effort. And so after that, they ended up staying in the Bay Area, played 2 against San Francisco, lost 6-1. Bundy was on the mound and gave up 5 earned. We suck again. I believe 5 earned runs. And so they ended up losing 6-1, but they turned it around the next game and won 8-1. So, I mean, I'll take a split against the Giants, a solid team like that, which is really funny because, I mean, they played the Dodgers. They seem to be winning or handling certain series where you expect them to just get swept out, and they're actually holding their own. But then when they play shitty teams like the Mariners, they're just complete ass. So it's cool. I love it. I love that consistency. So they have a 4-game series right now against Seattle. Last time I looked, I believe it was 4-1 Seattle or something like that.
Oh, so interesting.
So anyways, shut it. Stay in your own lane. Anyways, but something that is a surprise but wasn't a surprise is Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy?
Al Bundy.
Yeah, whatever. Sorry, so that was I don't know why I was thinking of Ted. Anyways, Bundy going 0-6 so far to start the season. Irrelevant. Anyways, Bundy going over 6 so far on the season. Not surprising to some, especially not to me. I was really actually going to make a bold prediction that he was going to have a below 500 record with the Angels this year. He wasn't going to be a solid ace. Well, that was going to be actually in my first podcast. I had it noted down, but I was like, maybe I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. And no, he played right into it. So he's 0-6 in his first 10 starts, a 6.49 ERA, and maybe in a little league, and then only pitching though 51.1 innings. So that's like really just blah. Like that's terrible. You're at 51.
He's averaging just about 5 innings a game. Wow.
Yeah, and he's not doing anything with his time on the mound. So it's very just disappointing because again, he's told that he's going to be the ace for the team, and I even said it in the first podcast. I was like, I don't see this guy being an ace. I'm like, okay, I guess if you guys are going to make that call because you guys make millions of dollars to make that call, sure. It's nothing. He hasn't done anything. He's rolling the donut on wins. I understand that sometimes maybe it's up to the bullpen that's kind of letting it slide, but at the same time, he's just not producing like he should be. He's not pitching long games. and he's just inconsistent. So I'm hoping that with Ohtani kind of just being the magical player that he is right now on the team, maybe he can just be a spark to just give them a little bit of light to maybe get into
I don't think so, Tim.
another gear. And then hopefully maybe in a few weeks when Trout comes back from his I don't know, oh my God, I can't even believe he's off for that long for his injury that I'm hoping he comes back sooner and they can just get him going and he can kind of give them that little bit of a spark.
That way they can sell more tickets.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, all of like 200 right now. Damn! Anyways, it's almost June 15th. It's just bleh. So they're 25 and 30 right now, fourth in the West. So they're slowly but surely catching up to the A's.
He's an idiot. Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be a long season and a very long off season for us. So needless to say, I don't think the World Series is going to be in their future this year.
Oh, you don't say.
That's my bold prediction, Cotton. So
something I just wanted to talk about. It's kind of funny how when they play each other in division, how like you think that the Angels, Seattle, Texas are shit, and the A's and Astros are way above. Yet the Astros got swept by Texas just like a week ago before they played the Padres.
Yeah,
that was also pretty baffling. Like,
wow. So it's like you. At the end of the day, it's still your division, and those are the teams that know you the most of everything. So like, if you're gonna lose a series, like if you lose it to your division, don't get swept. That's the way I see it with the A's. Don't do what the Astros do and get swept by the Rangers. If you're gonna lose 2 out of 3 to the Seattle, at least lose 2 out of 3. So that's the good thing about the A's. Like they're not sweeping anyone, but they're also not getting swept.
Yeah. They're
like,
above 500 on the.
They're always staying just one. They're always staying at least like one game, and then
they're just doing just enough.
Oh, hey, and let's also point something out. This is important. After that win they had yesterday for the first time all season, I'm pretty sure they have a positive run differential, which they have not had.
I thought there was -2 still going in.
Oh, it's a +1, baby. +1.
Print the parade.
First time all season.
I mean, they were like -40 a week into the season, so that's.
I thought it was worse than that.
I apologize. The Angels are losing 4-2 right now, not 4-1.
That's what I was.
Yeah.
Was working.
So,
What?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter what the score is.
I don't know
so let's go to that.
Let's
rotate it over to the North Bay towards those San Francisco Giants.
Yeah, we gotta go across the bay. Let's talk about the Giants because I think we just want to really get into that series down in LA against the Dodgers. So the previous weekend, the Dodgers, I think maybe a good word is maybe they humbled the Giants a little bit because the Giants just didn't have a lot going in that series. I think Friday, if I remember correctly, was kind of close, but then Saturday and then especially Sunday got out of hand real quick for the Giants. Yeah. They got swept at home, but then they go to LA. They lose the opener on Thursday in a 4-game series. So all of a sudden, you're already down. You've already lost the first 4 games of the season series against the Dodgers. Then Friday night, unbelievable. Giants had a lead. The Dodgers hit a tying home run. It was a pinch hit by Austin Barnes, tied the game. Then Albert Pujols comes up, launches one to left. Mike Tauchman absolutely robs it, and then the Giants come out. Not only do they get 3 runs top of 10 to win that game, they win the next 2 games of that series. They take 3 of 4 from the Dodgers. That's just an unbelievable change of momentum just to think that they're inches away from going down 2-0 in that series. You lose the first 5 games of the Dodgers, and then kind of like a show me what you got kind of series. Like, let's see how real you really are. And then all of a sudden they come away with that series. So that is absolutely huge for the Giants. And because, you got, and that's the crazy thing about that whole NL West is you look at it between the Giants, the Dodgers, and the Padres, the Giants, Dodgers, and Padres, those 3 teams, they're head to head against each other. It's like 500. It's been close around the board. So that's going to be a crazy series. But yeah, the Giants, we're seeing maybe, is this team going to be for real? They're pitching. I know there's a lot of talk about this team, about these guys they're all overachieving and eventually it's going to catch up with them. I guess where do you guys kind of land on that? Are they really just overachieving, or is this team going to be around?
I think they're a solid ball club. I think they're going to be in it. Again, you talk about the Dodgers and the Padres in the division. They also have the two worst teams. They have the Diamondbacks and the Rockies in their division as well. So they're going to beat them up a little bit too. Kevin Gausman's pitching out of his mind, and he'll pitcher of the month.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, other than Jacob deGrom, I mean, he's been it for the National League, I think. Injuries came up to Yaz and Logan Webb. But again, Posey's, like you said, they're a bunch of overachievers. I mean,
and I think Yaz has actually been kind of a down spot for the Giants, right?
Yeah.
He hasn't even been the guy that's been producing like crazy. It's been guys like Posey, guys like Longoria, Bell, Crawford. It's those guys that are doing stuff. Yastrzemski was like the one guy everyone's like looking forward to, and he's been kind of on the down in general, as generally speaking about it. So
credit to Farhan that he's built this team. I mean, even when they call up like Steven Duggar, he's been hitting some clutch home runs as well. So it seems like whoever they plug in, Wilmer Flores, who's the utility guy,
Mauricio Dubon.
You guys, with the sword to Trevor Bauer, which if you're gonna do it, you can do it over Bauer, I guess. But
whatever. I think it's all good fun in general.
It's all good fun,
yeah,
for sure. I think they're for real. Looking at the NL, I'm like, okay, they got a good sized lead on just about everybody for the wild card. So if they just hang with it, I think they're gonna make the playoff, probably the playing game or the wild card game. But
right. Yeah, no, and I do like what you mentioned about Gausman too, because I mean that guy's been an absolute gem for those guys. Exactly like you said too. I'm thinking a lot about the All-Star game, thinking about who's going to start the National League. I think DeGrom's probably got that as long as he wants it, because there's the whole thing of, well, is he going to pitch? Is he going to opt to play? Or is he going to not be in the game? Because I think the Mets are going to want to keep him healthy as possible, and maybe the All-Star game isn't a part of that plan. But I think if DeGrom is off the table, Kevin Gausman might start the All-Star game for the National League. I mean, the only two guys that come to my head immediately of who could maybe be in that spot is guys like Yu Darvish, who's been really good for the Padres, but I don't think he's been as good as Kevin Gausman. And then maybe Brandon Woodruff of the Brewers, who's been really solid. So maybe you think of those guys, but I mean, in my guess, if I were voting, Gausman has my vote over those two guys.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean that guy's been good. I mean that's like guaranteed win right there when Gausman's on the mat. It's like as long as you can hit and get some runs on the board, it's like good luck to whoever they're playing against.
And it's been kind of crazy seeing the Giants are playing the platoon game this season. Against righties they got Dickerson out there, and against lefties they got Slater, and it's like. Either whoever goes out there between those two, they're always doing at least one hit every game. It's like you got all these for people on the East Coast, no names, like who the hell is Dubon, Slater, Duggar, who are these guys? Like, and it's crazy. They're doing exactly they're going out there and doing what they need to do. And then you got
is Tommy LaSella even playing with him?
No, he's hurt.
Like what the hell?
Yeah.
I'm so big on that guy. I was so big on that guy when he left the A's. I'm like, dang it, the A's really blew it. They really blew it when they lost LaSella, but the guy's not even playing.
No.
Sure. And actually, the crazy part about Flores is, you say he's a utility guy, and he is, but he's also been the everyday utility guy. He's he is what the A's want out of Pinder. Like, you wish that Pinder's like Flores, where he's playing every day in just different positions. It's everyone on the team. They're overachieving, but hey, they're doing what they need to do. Des Calfani's been pitching out of his mind. You got Cueto still being competent, at his age. And then Gausman.
Off balance with his off balance stuff.
I can't stand Cueto with that shimmy crap. it's a balk. I don't care. It's a balk.
I like all the shimmies.
Not really a balk when it's in the windup, but all right.
I like all the shimmies. I like Curry shimmy. I like Cueto shimmy. Give me all the shimmies.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
All right. Well, if there's anything else you guys want to touch on anything, other than that, we can get to Jason. You and I both had some bets. So, Jason, why don't you take it away? Let us know exactly how your bets have played out.
I'm actually having a pretty good day, I must say. It's kind of shocking right now. I picked the Tampa Bay Rays over the New York Yankees with Garrett Cole on the hill today.
Shout out Ben. He would just call it the Tampa Bay.
The Tampa Bay.
Yeah, that's Tampa Bay.
I mean-
Just kind of went with my gut with Tampa Bay over Garrett Cole. So they won. I had the White Sox over the Detroit Tigers. They won that game. I had Boston over our rival Houston. That was a win as well. And I have the Giants over the Cubs, and they are currently, Craig, up 5-2.
Dang it. When I looked at it last time, the Cubs were winning too. So that's
Guys,
crazy.
could I just? I'm sorry. I just need a 7 for one quick road. Dude, the Suns are absolutely destroying the Lakers right now. LeBron's gonna lose.
I'm here for it.
What's the score?
45-18 with 7 minutes to go in the second.
Daddy, chill.
Jeez.
Jesus.
Holy
Wow.
Oh, you know what it is? You know what it is? LeBron needs to get on that worldwide promotional tour for Space Jam.
Oh yeah, you're right. So does Anthony Davis because he's in the movie. Oh,
That's what it is.
Run that
That's
down.
Damn.
the excuse tonight. That's the excuse
I
tonight.
can't stand that guy, dude. Jesus.
All right. But yeah, pretty good day for bets on my end. Let's say you, Craig.
Yeah, really good, except for that Portland Trailblazers pick. But yeah, so I put my picks up a couple hours ago. Kind of got it late to one, so I was just kind of working with the late games. But yeah, so as Jason kind of hinted at, I was against him. I decided to take the Cubs tonight over the Giants, not because I think the Cubs are better than the Giants, just whatever. It was just a feeling I had. I'm like, oh, maybe Kyle Davies might pitch well, and it was 2-1 after 3. So, but yeah, the Giants put up a 3 spot in the 5th. So, good thing game's not over. You never know; it might play out. And then other than that,
Crawford just hit a 2-run jack. It's 5-2.
yeah, great. Appreciate you updating me on what I'm looking at. But yeah, and then other than that, I took the Mariners
That's what
over
I'm here
the Ben's Angels because it's usually probably a safe bet to pick the Angels to lose, which so far they're doing an okay job. It's 4-2 Seattle in that one. Plus, I thought the Mariners would be a little pissed off with the A's shut them out yesterday. So let's just throw in that. And then for the Mets Padres, I decided to go ahead and take. We had good pitching matchup. Taijuan Walker, the Mets has been pitching really well. Yu Darvish was really good for the Padres. I'm like, all right, let's go with the safe bet. First inning, no runs. That was a lock. Got that one, no problem. I decided to play the under on 6.5 total runs. It's pretty low, even with the pitching matchup. It's a little scary. So far, we're at we have 2 runs scored through 3.5 innings through 3.5 innings played. If I can ever get that out.
This guy's drunk.
So,
Go
He's on
home.
vacation mode, baby.
but
Yeah.
Yu Darvish hasn't surrendered a hit yet through 4 innings, so that's good for the Padres there. And then I also went ahead and decided to take the Padres over the Mets in this one. The Padres just got swept by the Brewers. Not the Brewers, the Cubs.
He's for
So
sure.
over in
Dude, he
Chicago.
is, like
so.
all over the place. Get your shit together.
Ben, you want to get muted because I'll mute you right now. So, but yeah, 2-0 San Diego right now in the 4th inning. And in case anyone wanted to know, the 2 runs came off of a home run by Fernando Tatis Jr.
There we go.
So 2-0 there. So far, yeah, 1-1. Maybe the Mets Padres game that might all play out. So I'm hoping maybe 4 out of 5. That'd be cool. That'd be nice. So, but yeah, that's how we're looking so far for those bets tonight.
Hey, quickly, really quick. Because we didn't have a podcast since this happened. What was your initial reaction when Dave Cavill tweeted that he was out of?
Oh man, so that was just nuts because I literally saw that tweet like the second it came out. I saw it when it had 0 retweets, 0 likes, 0 everything. And my immediate thought was, oh boy, this can't be very good. So I don't know. Again, it just ties back to the whole thing of, in my opinion, the A's have an owner who I don't think gives a crap about being in Oakland. I think, and part of me is not sure if Dave was hired to, make it, or hey, you're going to be the fall guy when this all goes down, make it look good. I mean, is that a possibility that that's what's happening? Is that who got hired on? Is like, hey, this isn't going to work. Make it look good. Make it look like we tried. Maybe that's a possibility. I don't know. Like, I think I mentioned it when we talked about it. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time about where this team's going to be playing in the years. I'm just worried about the product on the field and hopefully getting a championship while they have this core intact. But yeah, no, initial reaction though. Yeah, that was, oh boy, that's my initial reaction on there. I think it's a bad look. And yeah, and obviously a lot of people that were behind Dave, they was doing the right thing. I think he lost a lot of his support.
Right.
So
I think,
yeah, it's my initial reaction. I don't want to take away. I want to hear everybody's take on this one, actually.
really quick, Brody Brazil had the post game show that night, and it just walked off 15 seconds or whatever. That didn't say a word. Yeah, it spoke volumes because Brody's been interviewing Cavill for however long now, and they seem to be kind of close. And they might have, like you said, might have lost an acquaintance there. I don't like the fact that he comes out and goes, "Oh, Oakland and Las Vegas are running parallel with each other." When you have done all the legwork in Oakland already, you've done the environmental impact report. So unless they've been backdooring and doing like Las Vegas on the down low, I don't know how they're running parallel. And my thought is like, if Las Vegas says, "Hey, okay, you guys can come," is Oakland still really number one? Are you really trying to make Oakland the number one? Is that your number one priority? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't really know at this point.
Yeah.
Ben, John, anything to add on that?
He's just stirring the pot. That's all I see him doing.
I think John is intentionally pausing and not responding. I think that's part of his pitch.
No, I'm just tired of this. I'm tired of it. Of everything. They're not going to be in Oakland 5 years. It's going to be. I don't know what we're going to do.
I would lean towards that more than I would lean on them staying. So
we're going to still live our lives, and
I'm not. Well, what I'm saying is I'm not a Raiders fan, so I don't know how it feels to be a Raiders fan with the team in Vegas. Well, I guess now I'm going to become what it feels like to be a Raiders fan. I don't know how that feels because my A's aren't in Vegas yet. I don't know if I'm going to follow them to Vegas or what I'm going to do. It just sucks. I mean, they got such a great fan base here in Oakland. Die hard. Just build a stadium that isn't a piece of shit.
Yeah.
That's all they ask.
Yeah.
Like literally, it's a freaking porta potty. That's what the Coliseum is. It's a fucking porta
like
potty.
it's baseball's last dive bar.
Yep.
Dude, I wouldn't even call that a dive bar.
I would say that I
on.
just feel like it's a bad look on an owner's part to kind of do that. Like,
Dave Cavill's not an owner. So.
What? Sorry
about
the GM.
GM.
He's also not the GM. You guys are both wrong.
What is he then?
He's a team president.
President. There you go. Sorry, I was gonna get there eventually.
Well,
whatever.
Rookies.
But anyways, it's just not a good look for like the whole organization. Like really, because again, like you do have a big fan base. I remember going to one of my first A's games, like in recent time. And,
here we go. Here's all the sentimental bullshit.
And then no. And then hearing like, you guys doing your chants and all that stuff. And I remember I looked at Rist and I was like, what the fuck is this? The World Cup? Like everyone's got these chants for every player. Like it's crazy. So you guys have diehard fans. You guys have passion that shows that even though the team does not put any money towards the team, people are still coming back, still watching you guys, still wanting to see you guys be competitive, make a deep run, try to get the World Series. Of course, you fall short out of the wild card. Anyways, it just still sucks, though, to see like the big wigs who make millions of dollars just kind of shit on the fans and be like, there's nothing you can do about it. It's at the end of the day, there's nothing you can do. It doesn't matter what you guys say, what you guys do, how much you guys like preach to us. At the end of the day, it just comes down to money. And more than likely, they're going to probably move. I would not be surprised if it's Vegas is what it is, but I just think that's really shitty. And then
it's something that my dad has always told me about the whole thing too, is that it's the way he said it has always stuck with me, is it's millionaires arguing with billionaires about money.
Right.
That's the way I look at it. all the
Yeah,
time.
and that's
what
exactly
it
the
is.
way it is. And then you guys who put money into the team to want to see your team play, just play baseball. And yeah, you're not asking that much. The team, the fans, they just want a better stadium, but doesn't mean you need to leave. Like, that's ridiculous. But again, if they're seeing the dollar signs, they're seeing a big market in Vegas and a few other places that they're talking about. And it's just kind of disappointing because
It's funny.
I like going to A's games because they are inexpensive. It's fun to go. It's fun to just go to.
It's inexpensive, Ben, because I'm pretty sure if anything is over like $4, you can play.
Inexpensive to you guys. Anyways,
It's funny though because the A's are not a big market team. The ownership group has never seen it that way, and now you're going to go to Vegas, which the people in Vegas are going to expect you to put money towards the
into a
team, and they've never done that in their lifetime. So it's kind of funny. I can't. If they do go to Vegas, I'm kind of curious to see are they going to still do this whole nickel and dime bullshit that they do in Oakland, because the people in Vegas won't allow that.
Yeah. I think if you move out to that market, you essentially they're going to be challenged to have to play big market like players, like they're going to, because the city is going to put millions of dollars into them to bring them over to build a brand new stadium, to have a good look. You know what I mean? Like,
I think that's kind of the idea, though, that's been kind of placed out there is that no matter where they're playing, whenever they are in a new stadium, the talk is that, yeah, they'll start having money put into players in the field. They've said the future of this A's team is dependent on where they're playing. So yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm one of those believe it when I see it kind of things. That's how I've been about the whole new stadium. It's one of those until there's shovels in the ground, I don't really have a belief here nor there, other than I'm more on Cohoon's side. I'm definitely more of a believer that this team is going to be gone than they will stay. So they have a big vote coming up in July, which that might be
nice.
That might be bottom of the ninth, 3-2 count, bases loaded, 2 outs. That might be the pitch. That might be
July 20th.
That might be the big play of deciding whether or not this team is going to be here. So yeah, we'll see when we get there. But anyways, we gotta shift gears a little bit too. The Cohooney 5. It's been a week off.
Yes,
we've got to dive into it. You give us a recap of how that last one played out, and yeah, why don't you lay it on us, Cohoon?
Move on.
Easy.
Let us know what we're doing.
All right. Well, this Cohooney 5 is going to go off the rails. I can already tell. So I'm going to go ahead.
I don't know why you have that idea.
Go ahead and start off with my bowling recap. My team did not bowl Memorial Day. There was no league that day, so we only had one night since our last show, and back to back weeks we ran into a 160 something average bowling buzzsaw. Guy averaged a 167, shot 220, 230, 210 against us, and we got swept. Guy shot 671, which for people who aren't bowling fans, that's about a 221 average round, give or take a few pins. Like, yeah, the guy had a career night, and there's nothing you could do when that shit happens. It's like, wow, that's just unfortunate. So yeah, we unfortunately got swept. So hopefully this Monday is better.
But yeah, go uphill from there.
I mean, Cohoon just brings out the best in everybody. It sounds like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then as for me, I shot 169,
nice,
204, and 199. And 199. So I shot my highest series so far this season, lefty.
Oh my god!
But yeah, it wasn't enough for the freaking 167 buzzsaw that we ran into.
Apparently.
But yeah, shifting gears to the Cohooney 5. Here we go.
This better be good.
Cohooney 5 is back on the winning ways after a lost week. I went 3-2. I did get losses out of Cody Garbrandt and Justin Taffa. Those two lost their fights. But Jack Hermanson, Carla Esparza, and Ricardo Ramos all won their fights. So 3-2, winning record. Going into this week's Saturday fight night, I am 25-19-1 on my all-time career Cohooney 5s. And here we go. So first off, I'm going to be taking Manin Furiot. Quick question, male or female?
Go again. Say again.
Undecided.
Manin Furio.
I'm gonna say a man.
I'm gonna say female.
I'm gonna go female.
Female out of Spain, or actually France. Yes, I am
Close.
taking Manin Furio to win.
Not even close.
She's the better
Not even close.
stand-up and the better fighter on the ground. So she's gonna win that fight. And there be the child. Next off, we got the. This is probably one of the funniest nicknames. The guy is called the Monkey King. Jordan Levitt in his first fight in the UFC threw one punch and then took the guy, grabbed him by two legs, carried him across the ring, and slammed him head first for a knockout. So yeah, Jordan Levitt is seen as one of the better up and coming prospects. This is gonna be a second fight in the UFC. He's a really minus $200 favorite. I think he's got an easy matchup coming up, and I can see easily another first round win going. So I got Jordan Levitt. Next up is Santiago Ponzinibbio. I could never pronounce this guy's name, but he's a veteran and he's a plus 100 underdog, and he's fighting off against someone who's in his first prove it fight. You know, he's had a couple fights in UFC, and this is his prove it fight against a veteran. And I think Santiago is going to win this one. I don't believe in this guy. I think he's got a couple of gimme fights to start off his career. I think Santiago, once again for Benny, Ponzinibbio is going to win this one. And then next up, we got Walt Harris. Almost the exact same thing with Santiago. He's facing off against a prove it guy. This is the co-main event. I really like Walt Harris to win this one as easily the biggest upset on the card, in my opinion. And then the last one is the main event. Thought the Santiago guy was bad. Jairzinho Rozenstruik. He's like from Zimbabwe, I think it was. Jairzinho Rozenstruik in the main event. I don't see this one going 5 rounds. I think he's going to get an early stoppage.
I see a Zingo
for the win.
She said.
Yeah. So to go over the Cohooney 5, I have Manin Furiot, Jordan Levitt, Santiago Ponzinibbio.
There's like 18 syllables in that name.
Walt Harris and Jairzinho Rozenstruik. I knew this was gonna be bad just when I saw the names. But yeah, that's my Cohooney 5. We got the pay-per-view next Sunday. I cannot wait for that one. But yep. Good luck. Good skill.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, go to the championship
Quit
chalk.
it, move
Yep.
on.
Go for
Yeah.
it.
All right. While you guys talk about your softball, I'm going to the bathroom.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
He's got to do laundry, folks.
I think his Wi-Fi kicked out. I think he's in.
Yeah.
All right, let's shift things over to the softball diamond. We got 2 games to go over, and all 3 of us were involved in both of these games. Grandpa J Rist was able to sub in for both of these games. We'll jump it back to not last night, but the previous Wednesday. We went into that game. We were 2-2 after coming off a pretty big upset victory. Weird game. It was one of those just games. I feel like it was just dragging out over and over again. I had to pitch. I definitely didn't have it that night. And then the pitch, another team didn't really have it either. Pretty much I can just tell you this much. The game was the time clock, 70 minutes. It was at 35 and we were still on the top of the second inning. So that thing just dragged out. Crazy stuff. It was just runs here, runs there. It was crazy. But anyways, we found ourselves going into the bottom of the 4th. Time had already expired in the early part of the top of the 4th. Well, we were down 25-15. So it's a 10-run deficit. No time on the clock. It's do or die. and get some hits, get some walks. All of a sudden, we got about 3 of those runs back, but we're down to our last out. Well, it was hit, walks all over the place. All of a sudden, came up, hit a walk-off RBI hit. We scored 11 runs in the bottom of the 4th inning to win 26-25 to put ourselves over 500 for the first time of the season. Crazy game. And all 3 of our victories we've had up to this point, I think we've been down by like at least 6 or 7 runs in each of those games. So we've had this whole never die attitude, keep grinding and keep battling away and just keep chipping away and keep finding a way to come back in the game. So that's been an impressive note. So we come in 3-2. We go into last night. We go against a team that we faced in the first week in the game that we got beat up pretty badly in. This is the no doubt best team in the league. And I say that in a way of, and Jason says this pretty well, you got to have your best game forward, and you also got to hope that they are off their game. Because if you don't get both of those, you're not going to beat that team. They are a talented team from top to bottom throughout that batting order. And I mean, last night, me and Jason are playing on the left side of the infield, and it's like, all right, let's shade the middle. You go start, hitting the ball at the middle, you move over, they go to your left, they go to your right. They find the holes in the infield no matter where you play. So, I mean, shout out to that team. I mean, they're going to probably win that league. They're 6-0 after being
really
so.
Players, so.
The long story short of last night, we did lose. We did have a lead at one point. We scored 3 runs in the top of the first, and then they tied it. And then I think we went into the bottom of the second, 3-3. And after that point on, it was all them for the most part. So we did go from 1 run the first game. We did score 6 last night, so that's a good thing. Our offense has been there every game since that first one. So not as efficient last night. We weren't able to get as many runs across the board. But I mean, overall, we're still a good spot. We're 3-3. We have 2 games left in the regular season. I think both of the games we have coming up are definitely winnable. And we still have a chance. I'm not going to say it's a great chance. We still have that chance of getting that first round bye if we get that 2 seed, which would be nice to get a little bit of a bye week. But then again, it's the whole rest versus rust. We might be a team that's just better off without a week off. But
yeah, I think we're better off without a week off.
But Ben, anything you want to throw in there? I know you finally got a chance to hit in the leadoff spot last night, which maybe didn't pan out the way you were hoping when you asked for the leadoff chance, when you found out David was probably going to miss that game. But I guess just your overall feel of how the last 2 weeks have played out.
Well, the first game that we played when we came back to win 26-25. Everyone seemed to be jiving very well, hitting the ball. Fielding wasn't the best, but our bats came alive. So it was fine. Our offense was a little bit better than theirs, so it paid off. But last night, asked for that leadoff spot. If David wasn't there, I should have never asked for that. That was the dumbest request I have all season. No. Went for, I think, 0.5 out of 3 tries. And I say 0.5 because the third baseman dropped the ball, I guess, on an easy play. And so I made it to first.
I think you can call it an easy play. They're all really good. And the fact that you hit the ball hard enough to where she bobbled it and then had no chance to get you out, I think that's a base hit. That's where
so we're going to count that as a 0.5 against the team. So 0.5 out of 3 tries. 1 Benny special for sure to start off the game, right to the second baseman. That really just
it set the momentum for the evening.
That just set the tone right off the bat, and that's when I really realized it's going to be a long night. And my fielding has been pretty off lately, so I benched myself after the first or second inning, just because dropping too much. So gonna need to critique some stuff, and then hopefully get back into my mid-season form here and not suck.
So what exactly is your mid-season form?
Catch every 4 instead of 0 for 4. So
the guy finally learned how to hit out of a paper bag, and he's over here saying that he's not performing well.
So anyways,
Jason is, I guess. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Ben. If there's anything else you added on, I was just wanting to see what Jason had to pitch in now that he's quite a couple of games, just get his overall feel.
It has been very nice to see Jason play, get out there and play. And
how's it work though? So does he hit the ball and then has to use the wheelchair to get to first?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how it works.
Okay.
Yes. You are on the money on that one.
Yep. And so Jason, how do you feel?
I feel good. I mean, like I said, the first game was a lot of fun. Probably one of the better games in the years that we played. Just top to bottom, everybody hit. All the girls raked.
Yeah, I think the girls were a huge part.
Huge. Kelly was
game.
hitting. Alicia was hitting. Everybody was hitting top
Yeah.
to bottom. So that was a big game. Yeah, last night it was just, it is what it is. We just don't match up well with them. I don't think anybody matches up well with them, and they know that. But they're good sports about it. I mean, they didn't rub it in our face or anything like that. They went station to station at certain points. And
Yeah, that's one of those situations where I hate playing those guys because they're such a differential, but I also enjoy it because they're good about it. They're not rubbing in your face. They're not over. They're all friendly people, the ones that do talk to you or whatever. And they're stationary when it gets to a point where, because we were about to get run ruled the inning before the last inning, and all they needed was 4 runs, and they had. This speaks to their team. Their leadoff hitter hits a bullet line drive opposite field right on the first baseline. It goes like all the way to the fence, and they all moved up 1 base. When it was one of those inside the park home runs that you could have probably ran backwards and still would have got it. So
Yeah,
I think that speaks a lot about
that's the
them.
one thing is like we've played against teams that don't care. They just keep cranking it, just keep hitting it, and they're playing as if it's a tie game, bottom of the 9th or something. And it is nice to see some people who are good sports about it, because I know that some of our players were kind of like, I hate when people do that, but it's like, you know what, like we're paying for the time. They just want to get the time out of it. That's all. They aren't trying to embarrass us. They are just very good players, and they're hitting it where we can't get to it. But they do want to just play in the designated time that we're allowed to play. And I'm like, I can respect that. Like, they felt bad the first time we played them. There was still like 16 minutes left on the clock, and they realized, oh crap. And they were like, man, like, because they wanted to just play it out, to just play the time, because they're out there.
Especially when it was our first game in, over a calendar year.
Yeah.
With the
And
whole
so
pandemic.
it's like, so that's what you have to see it as. It's like, you know what, like they're good sports about it. Cause we've faced guys where we've played against guys, I think they ran it up like 28 to like 4 or something. And we're like, dude, like, how is that even fun to you? And they're still like crushing it. Like, yeah. I'm like, okay, you guys need to stop with the smelling salts. All right. Anyways.
No, but it was just nice to get out there and run around again. And, it's been a tough year for everyone involved in the world, but it was just nice to get out there and run around a little bit.
Yeah.
It's real nice to just be able to get out there, go out there every week and just get some game time in. So, but yeah, so I guess none of us had any issues or rants, but I know Jason has one.
Always.
And this is the segment. It's Grandpa's Get Off My Lawn.
He's turning his hearing
Jason,
all the way for this.
What is grinding your gears?
Actually,
You America.
I could go with LeBron again. Actually, I will. LeBron, game 5, walks off the court with 5 minutes left to get his early treatment in a playoff game. Terrible look. You're the face of the NBA, apparently, and you're just, the camera's on you. Every move is calculated. He is not a dumb person. He basically owns the NBA at this point because he can get away with anything he wants. And he walks off the court with 5 minutes left in a playoff game, and it's just a terrible look. I mean, Isaiah Thomas did this in the 80s and 90s, and he was ridiculed for it for years. He had to never live this down. And LeBron does it, and it's like, not a peep. I mean, it's on Twitter that he did it, but nobody's coming down hard on LeBron at all. My second quick rant is on, I don't know if you're familiar with this guy, Max Kellerman on First Take. I hate those shows with a passion. I don't try to give him time of day, but he said something the other night that, when the game's on the line or whatever, he wants Lillard over Curry all the time. And I don't like the comment because it just gives him the attention, and I'm sure he gets paid on it. He just there to make money off of clicks and everything. But I'm like, dude, Curry boated. I'm a biggest Damian Lillard fan outside of, Portland. I love Curry and Thompson, but like I said earlier, Damian Lillard is probably my favorite player after that. But why do you have to put somebody down like Curry to prop somebody up like Damian Lillard? Why can't you just say Damian Lillard's a beast in crunch time? It had nothing to do with Curry. That's pretty much my rant for the day. I'm just tired of this or this. It just can't be one person Craig like at softball. Craig balls out. We don't have to say somebody's bad to prop Craig up. It rubs me the wrong way. But that's the way these sports shows are now. You have to be in disagreement. Nobody can agree, or it's just not good for ratings. And just rub me the wrong way. So Max Kellerman, get off my lawn.
I think that kind of reminds me of back in the Warriors like dynasty years, back when everyone used to make a big deal about Charles Barkley, how Charles would always go on there and he would always pick against the Warriors and say, "Oh, I think they're the better team." It's kind of like, why wouldn't you do that? Because what do you gain out of being the person who just says, "Yep, the Warriors are the better team. They're going to win this thing in 5." Like, go ahead, be that person that goes on there and sounds like the moron, I guess, of the group. If you want to look at it, it comes off that way. That what this guy's really going to pick against the Warriors. This, not only is he's saying the Warriors aren't even the best team when it's like clearly on paper they 100% are. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why not? Because if it pans out, you look like an absolute genius. Be like, yeah, I called that. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of reminds me a little bit of that too.
Well, and then if you don't call it at this, if you say it and it doesn't pan out, you may not look like a genius, but what you've done is you've created a head-butting situation and all
which is what they want.
Which is what they want. That's what they thrive on. Like, they stir the pot.
Kellerman, anytime he's debating Stephen A. Smith and they're talking about the Warriors, all Kellerman ever brings up is 2016 NBA Finals Game 7. Where Curry for the last 5 minutes of the game was a complete ass. That's all he brings up. He doesn't bring up any other thing. He just says, "Oh, Curry Game 7, 2016 Game 7, 5 minutes was a complete ass." Like, while Lillard, there's plenty of videos of him hitting game winners, series clincher winners.
Sure,
so that's why. Well, I'm saying, but it sucks that like one game is all that he's using. He uses for every time they have a debate about Curry, he brings that up. And it's like, get over it. It was one game. He has 3 championships. Like, get over it. He had one bad.
But it's something to stir the pot. It's a high point to use that will get a lot of attention.
It's what that's the show. First Take on SportsCenter. And then you have Undisputed on FS1. Like,
they're all the same.
Skip Bayless, and Shannon Sharp are exactly what Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman are. They're just there to get clicks. That's why I don't watch them.
But then moving over real quick just to the first part about that prima donna. Fuck LeBron. Like, I get what he does for the community. It's like cool. Like, great, like as a person, sure, but on the court, it's like, dude, if somebody did that to you, like Kyrie Leonard did that to him, like 5 minutes, left in the game, they're down by 30, and he like just leaves and goes to the locker room and doesn't want to like congratulate LeBron would be upset. He would be like crying and be butthurt, and there would be a lot of media attention about it. But it's okay if it's the other way around. And the biggest thing to me is sportsmanship. It's like, that's a huge thing to me. It's like, I don't care like how bad you're losing. If you're expecting it when you're winning, you need to be able to give it when you're losing. Like, you can't win every game. You can't win every situation. But you need to have sportsmanship because people do look up to you. Like, there's a lot of young people out there, not you, Jay, but there's a lot of young people out there that watch the sport and look up to, players. And they're like, hey, that's my role model. And that's your role model is some piece of shit that is down by 30. So he's going to go cry into a towel into the locker room and storm out of the place and then just, give BS answers for a post-game interview and just, and it's like, dude, like, get over yourself. Like, the game is not about you. Like, as much as you want it to be, it's not. Like,
he's made it that way. And I'm convinced that he has people on his payroll in the media.
Of course. I would believe it. For how much money he makes, why wouldn't he, right?
I'm fully convinced.
Look at the Cavs, look at the Heat, look at the way that all those like the way
Super
that
teams.
the teams developed because he created them, because he needed it his way and he needed to be the star. Him and Dwayne Wade like butted heads because they couldn't share any sort of like fame. You know? It's
They didn't actually. Dwayne Wade and LeBron actually never butted heads. It was Kyrie and LeBron that butted heads in Cleveland.
Oh,
But
really?
yeah,
I thought
LeBron goes on
Research.
your team. LeBron goes on your team. He instantly becomes the GM. He goes to the Lakers. What do? They trade Lonzo Ball and Brandon Ingram to New Orleans for Anthony Davis because he wanted Anthony Davis.
Yeah. And that's what's ridiculous. Like I thought it's my mistake. I did think that Dwayne Wade and him butted heads in.
They were actually him and Dwayne Wade because he joined Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade wasn't already there. He joined Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade is close. Dwayne Wade is really close to what Curry did when Durant went there. Dwayne Wade saw this guy's a better player than I am. I'm going to take a one step back.
Okay.
Just like Curry when Durant went there saw he's the better player. I'm going to take a step back. I'm still going to do what my thing, but he's number one.
But at the same time, I'm just annoyed with LeBron, like with the media attention, with the baby acts, with the like just the rants and the little like just shit shows. It's like, dude, just fuck off. Like seriously.
What really sucks about LeBron is physically gifted. He's 6'9", 260, 270. You know, he's a freaking nature.
Yeah.
And he acts like a prima fucking donna on the court. Yeah. Like, oh, I got poked in the eye by Draymond Green. Not even like an MMA where he's like, bam, like literally straight into your eye. Yeah. It was just a 2 hands poke in the eye, and he's on the ground longer than Joe Burrow was when Joe Burrow tore his ACL. See, it sucks
longer
because
than when that guy got the 94-mile-an-hour fastball to the face.
Yeah, Kevin Pillar. Yeah. So
just to wrap this up.
Actually, really quick, it's actually who is Kevin Pillar?
Just to wrap this up really quick, I just find it ironic when LeBron wins a championship or does something. It's LeBron did this, but when they lose, it's LeBron didn't have help, or it's not LeBron's fault at all. It's he has it both ways. And why is that? Because he has people in the media on his payroll.
Well, so Anthony Davis has only played 5 minutes in this game at halftime, and they're down by 21.
There's your excuse.
There's the excuse. Anthony Davis was hurt. Oh, it was a condensed schedule. I didn't get a full break in between. But you can actually argue the only reason the Lakers won the title last year is because it was because of COVID. They were in their own freaking hotel. They were in a hotel the whole time. They didn't have to travel. They didn't have to do anything extraneous. Like they were at a freaking resort playing basketball in Disney World. Like you could argue that's the only reason.
You definitely argue and spend a lot of time on it, but unfortunately, we're all out of time.
That's fine.
World Tour up next.
All right. Well, let's shift up as we're getting kind of close to wrapping this guy up. We got to go to a very popular segment, at least between all of us. It's the Hit It or Quit It segment. So we bring up a question, we go around the table, and we all decide if we are hitting it or are we quitting it. So, boys, I think all of you guys have a question but me on this one. So, anyways, they want to start it out? Go ahead and get it going.
I'll go last.
I bet you will.
Okay,
Jay, go start it off.
I'll start off.
I went first last time.
Okay. My hit or quit it is.
Lose your composure.
I did. MLB All-Star ballots came out today. We mentioned it earlier that the Oakland A's, when Ramon Laureano is not in the lineup, I think they're like 1-7. He's really the lightning rod. If he comes back relatively soon, within the next couple weeks or so, do you think Ramon Laureano is an All-Star for the Oakland A's this year? Hit it or quit it?
I will start by saying I'm hitting it. And I say that also because...
Who else are you going to pick?
Because you got to have a representative. But, look, in my opinion, you got a few guys that I think are deserving of All-Stars. Ramon Laureano is deserving to probably be an All-Star. Chris Bassett, Yusmeiro Petit. I mean, the guy's got like what 7 wins.
Yeah.
These guys are eligible. So, but I mean, at the same time, you're picking a very little amount of people out of a giant pool of players in the American League. So, chances are, I think Ramon would probably be the guy that gets there, especially because Mike Trout's missing quite a bit of time. And the funny thing is, Mike Trout might still get the fan vote because
He will.
everyone wants to see Mike Trout be in the All-Star game. But yeah, I mean, you never know. Ramon, yeah, I would lean towards hitting it, that Ramon, for the All-Star game.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that as well. I'd have to say hit it, that he's a good face. He's really kind of earned it, even though he's hurt right now. He is kind of, like you guys said, the lightning rod for the A's this year. If not him, I'd say Murphy. Easily a silver glove winner this year.
I'll get
not
you,
quite gold,
and I'll
but
look like
silver.
a bloody accident.
I like how they laugh and John just sits there just completely just confused. What? Why don't you understand the drop? Why don't you understand the drop, John?
No, I'm talking about him.
Oh, okay. Good. You don't have to complain about the drop. So in that case,
I couldn't even pay attention. I couldn't even pay attention to the drop from all the idiocy that came out of his mouth.
Valid. Anyways, but yeah, I would say that Laureano, hopefully he's back in time and could play and represent the A's, because he's a great player. Years back when he was making throws from the from center field.
we'll get there eventually.
Yeah, getting there eventually. Making throws from center field to get the guy out at third. You know, insane throws. He's got a great cannon. Yeah, his bat's not all the way there yet, but he's a very talented player. So I would like to see him in the All-Star if he's healthy enough. So that'd be it. But he's not better than Trout. So Christy, you can just stop that right now.
All right, that's foul. No need to try to set a blood war here.
We have billions of viewers. We don't need to lose any of them. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, come on now. John, Jason, or I guess John, what about you? Where are you at?
Oh, so I'm gonna hit it because, like you said, so the A's need to have every team gets a representative, and while Bassett and Petit are really good choices, I agree with it. I think the only other person that even has a shot right now is Olsen, but the first baseman spot I think is
Vlad Guerrero Jr.
almost locked. Yeah, Vlad Guerrero Jr. It's locked. So there's no way Olsen's gonna go, at least not as a starter. He could go as a reserve, and it would be really unfortunate if their only person was a reserve when they're leading the division. So I think Ramon Laureano will get the start at center field. Obviously there's a chance that doesn't happen considering Mike Trout's going to win the fan vote. But I'm going to hit it. I think Ramon will be their sole participant.
Jason?
I think you guys pretty much covered it all. I'm going to hit it as well. I think he'll be the also representative for the A's. Unfortunately, I don't think the A's are going to get more than one representative.
Yeah.
You know what? I take that back. I think if Bassett keeps continuing, I think he'll make it as well.
He might get there. Yeah, especially if you think about the probability that the guys get selected and then they opt not to go.
So
And
that
then
might get
Bassett could probably slide in there, which I mean, hope not. I really hope Bassett just straight up makes it.
right.
That's the best situation, is that, you know, the A's get multiple people, you know, that just get there because they voted or whatever the nature of how to get there. That would be a good thing of like, hey, that means your team is showing something that it's not just like let's pick somebody off. Like, we all know the Orioles are going to have John Means go, but is anybody else from that team going to go? Probably not.
No.
They're actually Mancini or not. Maybe.
Their closer has been really fantastic this year. There's a chance that they could go too, but considering how well they are on the,
you know what I meant. You don't need to go out our way to rub it in. Let's move to the next question. Ben, I believe it's your turn. Because unfortunately, John, we are out of time.
So my question, it's it's kind of an interesting one with hockey. So with the COVID going on, the realignment with it because of the Canada-U.S. border with not wanting to cross lines, you have to take 2 weeks and all that stuff to quarantine. But it did create a little bit of an interesting alignment with the playoffs. Canadian teams finally made the playoffs, all of them, pretty much. Half of them, whatever. So they finally are getting some representation. Do you think maybe in the next 3 years, maybe the league looks to realign kind of something similar to this, where all the Canadian teams will be in a division, so that way they can get more consistent representation up north?
I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit it because if they were going to do that, they would do it next season with Seattle being introduced.
Yeah.
But I am kind of shocked that they. So I'm quitting it. But I'm also kind of shocked that they didn't do that because the NHL knows how much money they get from the Canadian market. If they could guarantee a Canadian team will be in the playoffs every year, maybe even 2, they'd make even more money. So I'm a little shocked that they didn't do that. They didn't take advantage of Seattle getting introduced to do that. But the fact that Seattle got introduced and all they did was move Arizona over to the Central and put Seattle in the Pacific, they're not going to do it.
Yeah, I'm in the same exact boat with John on that one. We're moving the same paddle. I think it would be, if you're going to do it, you would have done it. You would have done it with introducing Seattle into the league. I don't think they're going to be interested in aligning the divisions again in a couple years after this addition. So, I mean, maybe somewhere down the road, but yeah, I'm just going to tell Canadian teams to step their game up a little bit. So I'm also quitting it. So,
All right.
Jason,
Was that a shot at the Leafs? Oof.
could have been. I mean, I may or may not have had them in the bracket challenge. Who knows?
They're allergic to Game 7s. Do you know that?
I just thought they weren't playing Boston. Finally,
They're allergic to round 2s, period. Not game 7s only. Just
haven't won a series since what, 2004?
They lost round 1.
We thought being Sharks fans were tough.
I know I'm with you guys. I think I'm gonna quit it as well. You guys covered it pretty well. I like the West versus East matchups too. I just traditional. I'm just gonna quit it. Toronto doesn't deserve, or Toronto in Canada, their own division. I just don't. No, they're covered.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'd have to say quit it as well. I would think that they would have realigned for next season when Seattle did come in. I would actually really like to see it to add in that consistent Canadian feel to the playoffs. But yeah, like Craig said, they do need to step up their game. They are pretty inconsistent up there. It's just kind of unfortunate because they do have a lot of talent up there on different teams and they could really make some dents, but it's very difficult to get through the bottleneck, come playoff time or come near the end of each season when it really bottlenecks for that final 7th, 8th spot. You got to really fight, and Canadian teams tend to not have that extra level to go to, kind of like the Patrick Marleau, to really kind of push themselves to that next level. And so, yeah, it just kind of is disappointing, but it is what it is. But hey, Thornton left to go win a cup, so maybe next year.
And
so it's all good.
And I look like a bloody accident.
So yeah,
not even.
But Cahoon, what is your question, sir?
Oh, I kind of talked about this in the group chat earlier, but I only got Reese's.
Sorry, I had a busy day at work.
I wasn't working.
So did all of us. The Detroit Lions are close to signing Todd Gurley, and I'm a little questioning the signing. But say Detroit does sign him, hit it or quit it. It was a good signing.
I'll go last.
You're the Detroit fan. You should know this kind of stuff.
I was gonna play this because
that's a clown question, bro.
Like, are we really doing this? And we really stumped this low that this is the topic that we're gonna.
Really?
Move on.
This is an LA Rams. Todd. I'm quitting it.
No, it's not LA. It's Detroit, and it's also making fun of Ben.
No.
because he
We're
doesn't
not talking
understand
about
what the other
LA
one is.
fans. Not really. We're talking about a guy that's washed. It is what it is.
Washed up.
Washed it. Quit it.
Run that guy.
And my answer, John, is simply
Quit it. Move on.
Ben. Go ahead.
So I'm gonna say that it's a solid
That's the fun
signing.
part of it.
Him and Goff to be reunited, give the run game a little bit of an option. Goff's just gonna carry him to the Super Bowl, so it'll be cool. It just adds to the fan base, and it's just money in the bag. So easy money. I'm hitting it all the way. There's no doubt in my mind. Super Bowl bound, and 11-6. Let's do this, baby.
So to all our viewers, if you could believe it or not, this is exactly how Ben makes his money on this show. So
And quit it.
idiocracy that becomes this.
Quit it, but was worth it.
All right, that's fair.
I just wanted to see Benjamin. I wanted to see what Ben had to say. That's all it was.
I went another direction on that.
God. All right, boys. Anything else? Any other questions? We're good. Good thing. I just ended on that note because I don't think we could bear another one like that. But... All right. Well, we're about to wrap.
It's not like the French Open.
Oh boy. Anyways, so
Moving on.
let's move on as we wrap up the show. You know how we do it. We like to shout.
No golf.
We like to do our shout outs and also ignore anything else Cahoon wants to input. So, boys,
Mute.
any shout outs you got before we wrap this thing up?
Cahoon, you have much to say, so you might as well start.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, I went to in April. I went on vacation to go see my friend and his wife as they were expecting their child, and yesterday they had their daughter. Yes, their daughter Amelia Esme. So congratulations, Anthony and Christina. Enjoy parenthood.
Well, speaking of parenthood, we'll go to Jason then. He's the veteran.
Yeah, I'd like to shout out my daughter Rachel and my son Nathan. They recently promoted. Rachel's going to become a freshman, and Nathan's going to go into 7th grade. So no more elementary school kids. It's pray for me. It's going to be.
We've been praying for you.
We've been praying for you because you put bets out every week, so we've already been praying for you.
I'm doing pretty good today. Leave me alone.
Wow.
Really quick, I want to shout out. Oh, hey, calm down. I want to shout out my coworker Gus Lopez, who actually tonight sent me a text going, "What is LeBron's excuse going to be tonight?" Followed by the Space Jam flop like LeBron. I'm here for it. So shout out to Gus Lopez.
Nice. I got a couple shout outs.
Bet you do, Ben.
Well, you don't have any family birthdays this go around, so I'm good. So that's all safe. First one is shout out to my wife. She started a new job after 9 years of Trader Joe's. So now she's a project coordinator. So she's now got to deal with headaches nonstop. With trying to.
She was already dealing with that. She's married to you, but.
Well, well, now she's getting paid for it. So, anyways,
that's true. You weren't paying her.
Yeah, that's at least a big step for her and us into our future. And then second shout out is thanks to Cahoon for taking off time in April on Thursday, Friday, and Monday, because God forbid it was someone's birthday that weekend, and he wouldn't want to work on his fucking birthday or anything. That's cool. So I appreciate it. Good looking out. So it's all good. And yeah. So.
Wow. All right. Anyways, my shout out. We got to make a shout out to the new Mr. and Mrs. Will Schleiss. Will and Elisa, our softball teammates, got married. That was the reason why I didn't do our show last Thursday. We were at their wedding over in Pleasanton. Just a really nice, little ceremony, nice little after shindig afterwards. Just really cool all together. Just kind of getting into that setting of actually being in a wedding again. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, special shout out to them. They've been together for a really long time, and just really nice to, finally see Will put a ring on it. So congratulations, you two. Wishing you guys nothing but the best. And yeah, we're still really excited. Obviously, we play softball with them, so we're still seeing them every week. So just, yeah, shout out to those guys for sure. So to the next chapter of you guys' lives together. So great stuff.
I got one more.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, well, unfortunately, we're out of time. Okay.
This is a shout out from everyone here at Sports Betting Mostly Chaos.
Quit it.
Last
Move on.
Monday was Memorial Day. Just a shout out to all the men and women, active and non-active duty. Thank you for your service.
Absolutely.
Yep. And now Craig's an asshole for trying to skip that.
No, I'm not. Because no, it's not. I don't want to say it because it's gonna make me sound like an asshole. I'm not trying to be an asshole. So
That's what an asshole would say.
yeah, but no, absolutely, yeah. No, shout out to Memorial Day. That's kind of the day I remember realizing everyone who paid the ultimate sacrifice. So yeah, it's a really big deal for sure. So, but boys, if there's anything else you need to add on before we wrap this thing up, first show in 2 weeks. I don't think we forgot how to do this thing, which is good. I mean, I don't know if we ever knew how to do it in the first place, but yeah. Well, again.
Yep. Apologies ahead of time. I know after an hour and a half of this, apologies if the audio was a little weird with Craig screaming into the mic. He wanted to go rock and roll today with
right as we're hearing you echo, as everything you say is echoed completely. So
it's because of the interference with Jason's hearing aid today. But don't worry, we'll get that fixed up next week.
No, we won't.
Don't hold your breath.
All right, boys, that wraps it up. Thank you guys so much again for checking in with us over here at Sports Bets, but mostly chaos. We hope we can provide you with some smiles, some entertainment, some laughter. Hopefully, all the above. That'd be the most ideal thing. But once again, make sure to give us a follow over our YouTube channel. It's at Sports Bets, but mostly chaos podcast, and you'll find tonight's show, all their shows. We just had Jockberry the other night. Jason winning his third title for him. So good for him. Ben still sitting at 1. It was his turn, and I guess he decided he didn't want to win. So sad for him. But and again, make sure to also follow us over on Instagram and on Twitter. I believe it's at SBBMC_pod. So you'll get updates on pretty much immediately when our new content is up there. So if you subscribe to our channel, you get alerted right away, I'm sure too. So you'll be right away. You'll find out right when that baby's up and ready to go. We're great, just absolute great content from start to finish, except when Ben talks. But other than that, that about wraps it up. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And we'll see you guys next time.